We are three guys who love their sport and can think of nothing better than enjoying a few beers together in the pub while we argue and laugh ourselves silly about all the sports headlines of the day. One of us thinks he's got coronavirus, one of us is suffering from a nasty rash that just won't shift, and one of us is afraid of the dark. But apart from that, we are fit and healthy. My name is Ollie, and with me today are my two very good friends, Boise and Gareth. Lads, how are things?
I am very, very good, thank you. I've had a wonderful day at work with a gripping subject.
Does your boss listen to this?
No, but my esteemed colleague is, who knows exactly what I'm talking about. So, but yeah, no, I've had a good day, man. Very good. I had a good weekend. Boise, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Good. Had a busy weekend as well. I say busy. We just had some people around on Saturday night and all ended up getting smashed.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, mate.
Absolutely
K-Lied.
Dead. So
how was
the productive
Sunday?
house day that was supposed to be Sunday was an absolute disaster, really.
Man, brutal.
Didn't get anything done.
My
wife was on the sofa all day, but she'd invited my mum round for a roast dinner, so I ended up having to cook that.
With a hangover.
Yep.
Although I quite like cooking a roast on a hangover with a beer. Like I quite like doing that.
Part of the recovery process.
Yeah, I mean, we also had friends over on Saturday and got absolutely smashy-oled. So it was just not a good look yesterday.
So question without notice: is the hangover? Is a roast the best hangover cure?
Well, I'm gonna say this, and it's not good. I had KFC.
Oh, you dirty animal!
What, the day after?
Yeah,
the day after.
Roast chicken.
You were? Oh no!
Yeah, as my hangover cure, I had KFC.
Hang on, leftover KFC. Or KFC?
No, I ordered fresh. Sorry, that's not. That's KFC. I ordered twice cooked KFC.
Twice cooked overseas, reheated in Brighton.
So
actually,
yeah, mate, it was delicious.
Did that, didn't we?
I would have preferred that. That would
have sorted you out.
Hit the spot and been
something
fine,
a little bit greasy and full of guilt.
Yeah. Before we get going though, Ollie,
yes, sir.
Big up on the old AFL podcast interview.
Thank you very much.
Yes. We have some Australian fans, at least word, some Australian listeners, who, when I was listening to you were like, oh, which team should you 100% avoid because they just... Collingwood. My mate had texted me on the previews and gone. It was Scanners, you know? And he texted me going, "Oh, have you done the AFL one? Because you've got to mention Collingwood, blah blah blah, and reeled off all these stats as being the best team." And then you came on and went, "The one team to avoid is Collingwood."
In my plummy tones.
Yes. So he'll be listening. Nice. He did send me some excellent pictures of Collingwood fans. One is The Rock. So Dwayne Johnson in a Collingwood top is unbeatable.
Mate, I'm not entirely sure. They must need a very different size for The Rock. Those goatees are tight at the best of times, but Jesus Christ.
Well, exactly. Small shorts.
Right.
Small shorts.
Well, look, as a reminder, our new format means that we are doing about 3 shows per week, with each show focusing on its own specific sport. This show is all about rugby, and there's plenty to get our hands on, just like Joe Marler. There's been a lot going on this weekend. So, lads, where shall we start? I've got a few thoughts. How French are the French? How many balls can Joe Marler fit in his hand? Are England... Actually, here's a question for you. Are England now the best team in the world? Is there anyone who on their day can beat them? And also, just what on earth is going on with the Six Nations with all of this coronavirus?
I'll take Joe Marler for 1 point, please. I'd like to start at that. Let's start there.
Let's go straight into. I like how brave you are there, mate, because that is proper like sexual assault controversy. So let's dive.
Mate,
balls
I'm
deep,
going straight in.
Right in. First of all, I can't imagine anyone hasn't seen this. Just in case, for some reason, you have avoided highlights, social media, and newspaper, anything. Joe Marler, one of the England players, was caught on film early on in the game giving Alan Wynne-Jones, the Welsh captain, I've heard it described in many ways, but I've also seen it on a few strip club menus as well. But there's some sort of squirrel grip, I think is how I've heard it described, where he cupped, I think, and maybe tweaked some genitalia from the Welsh captain, and it has blown up. Not the genitalia.
Well,
not the genitalia.
That'll happen if you pinch it.
I hastened to it. It wasn't genitalia, but the story has absolutely exploded.
Well, Ian, what do you think about Bollocksgate?
Bollocksgate.
I'm just surprised it's blown up as much as it has.
Yeah.
I thought it went on a bit more than it seems it does, but the fact that it's only because he's brought it up in a press conference, which it wouldn't surprise me if it was a bit tactical, just wanting to get him in trouble. It was a bit of a bad-tempered game, wasn't it? So I wonder whether there's that around it, but it seems to be blown out of proportion in my eyes. But then I'm sure that in today's world you just can't do those things.
Well, I mean, Ollie, you've been under a pile of men a couple of times. Does that happen more often than not?
We said we would never speak about that weekend again. We swore,
you're a rugby professional,
we swore
so
we would never talk about that weekend again. Yeah, look, I've been thinking about how to word this carefully.
Oh, this is the right forum for this game.
Yeah, with our usual diplomatic approach. Look, I think there it's against the laws. Like, there are rules in the game that bizarrely say you cannot do this. They don't say squirrel grip. I think they say genitalia twist or tweak or something like that. But there are rules that say you can't do it. So it's definitely against the rules, and he will get. I think he's been cited for it. I think he finds out on Thursday whether he's going to get found guilty and punished and stuff like that. So I'm perfectly comfortable with how he's going to get. He's going to get done for it. What I struggle with is how the social media world has erupted with this vitriol talking about it being sexual assault and things like that. And I'm not saying that Alan Wynne-Jones was happy with it or comfortable with anything like that, but I think with a lot of these situations, context is kind of everything. Sexual assault is a really serious topic that has impacted a huge number of people, continues to impact people on a daily basis. I don't see how that's sexual assault in the context of a rugby match. I don't think there's anything sexual about it for either party.
Is any contact then? It's not. I mean, it's. I just find it bizarre. I love how he looked around. Yeah. That was the best part. I'm sorry, but it's just, he's looked around, there's a camera there, it's almost like he thought, they're probably going to pick this up. But he keeps looking at the camera thinking, we'll look up, they're making eye contact, and then he just does the squirrel grip. I just think Alan Wynne-Jones is one of the worst for doing stuff to people, isn't he? He always niggly, he's always funny about. He's actually just an absolute pain in the bum to play against, excuse the pun, to play against. And you just think, I don't know, I think they're making a mountain out of a molehill.
Look, I'm not sure without allowing Alan Wynne-Jones to comment on the size of his genitalia, I'm not sure we should. But yeah, I mean, meanwhile, so potentially this could be the end of his England career, because I think.
Because of this? Yeah,
because he can get banned. I wrote this down somewhere. I can't remember what it actually is. He can get a really huge ban for this, like massive. Hang on, I'll try and find it where I saved it. Where was it? 12 to 24 week ban. So, like, if he's found guilty, the starting point is a 12-week ban. So what's that? 3 months. So that's March, April, May.
But how? He's not.
So are you basing this on that he's not going to play another season?
Well, yeah, as in, if he gets done now, he could easily fall out of favour. Maybe because he has got a bit of a record in terms of disciplinary issues, so maybe there's just going to be it may well be as well that he just decides, do you know what, forget this, I'm not being part of a game that's doing this. But if you get something like the maximum is a 24-week ban, it's half a year, it's 6 months. for that. I mean, like I say, it's against the rules, and he'll get done for it. I think it's almost disrespectful to people who actually have experienced sexual assault to call this sexual assault. In my mind, I don't think this is quite right. And the way in which the social media world has jumped on this, but the French guy who got sent off for punching, again, if you punch someone in real life, you go to jail. So if we're going to treat all these things equally and be consistent, then the squirrel grip and the knockout punch should get the same amount of bullshit on Twitter, and they definitely haven't. So
it sounds like some incredible wrestling moves that he does.
Yeah.
He does the squirrel grip and then he follows it with a knockout punch.
Do you remember the Ultimate Warrior from the 1980s and his squirrel grip? Amazing.
The Rock. So but I mean, I don't know. Red card, Manu Tuilagi. Go
on, Boise.
Again, I thought it didn't look as bad as once you slow it down, it looks a lot worse than it is. But then I was quite surprised that he apologised, didn't he, on his way off? So almost apologised straight away. So I think he knew it was coming. In today's rugby, you can't do that. So he didn't even attempt to wrap his arms around as well, did he?
No, I mean,
and he's flying in.
Yeah,
I know
he's a solid unit. I mean, really... yeah, I think everyone, when they saw that tackle, whichever side you're supporting, I think just anyone watching, everyone would just gone, oh! That was a brutal hit, and he definitely deserved a red card.
I mean, he's just rush of blood, into the head in terms of just. But how many times does George North get concussed in his career?
That guy's got to be seriously worried.
Worried. And I don't mean this flippantly.
No. Seriously, it's a concern.
He will. When he's older, if he does not have a serious illness in terms of dementia or something, and I don't mean this loosely, but that guy's been concussed so many times.
Yeah, no, totally agree. He's a very hard player, but the amount of punishment he's taken, and in an area where there's been so much work recently, so much research recently that shows how devastating the impact of those kind of injuries can be. Man, it's terrifying, absolutely terrifying.
But is that just poor technique?
That he keeps getting concussed.
I
don't know. I mean, how much technique is there in being tackled? I don't know. But you're right. There's a pattern, isn't there? Without being funny, sure.
His head seems to end up on people's shoulders and hips a lot.
Yeah. I don't know. You'd have to look. I can imagine there's probably been a few, because he's a winger. Maybe there's been a few where he's tackled in the air and then maybe landed badly. I can imagine because he's a winger, there's a few Saturday where he's sprinting for the corner and the cover tackle is just coming across and tries to fly into him. So again, maybe it's one of those. Maybe it'd be interesting to know, in terms of positions on a pitch, is there any correlation about who's more likely to get concussed than other positions? I don't know.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
I mean, I say that from a position of someone who genuinely believes if I was in his position, I would probably be dead.
Yeah.
That would kill me.
Yeah.
I would certainly cry.
Yeah. That's for sure. I wouldn't be in that situation. I wouldn't have been able to keep up with the play. I'd be back on the 22 with a Lucozade bottle in hand going, all right, I'll be there in a second. Can we just...
that's too funny.
So, yeah. But I think for me, definite red. Gareth, for you, definite red?
I think it was a bright orange, and I don't mean that in a. I can see it looks a lot worse in slow mo, doesn't it? I think it's red. It is red, actually.
Awkward silence.
Definitely
a red.
I've just replayed it. I've just gone. It's probably a red. That
it's definitely a red. Well, but did you hear Eddie Jones's comments in the press conference afterwards? He has properly gone to town defending Tuilagi And he said things like, it's just bizarre. Towards the end of the game, it was 13 Englishmen against 16 Welsh people. When people go like, including the ref there, it's like, well, I'll leave you to do the counting. He said, I don't understand how you're meant to be able to tackle then in this game if that's not allowed, what you possibly meant to do. And meanwhile, like, everybody else is going, I'm pretty sure he almost killed him. Like, I think it's all right not to take George North's head off, maybe.
Yeah.
I think Eddie. I haven't sort of got the full details, but read a few stories so that Eddie is going to have to go before the RFU board and answer a few questions, because I think he's treading a fine line between sort of being a passionate defender of his team. And being an annoying Aussie who's winding the fuck out of everybody. So, I think he's got to be careful. But to be fair, if he keeps winning, couldn't give a shit.
He was just in a grunt, wasn't he?
Yeah, probably.
He seems to
he's a lot more grumpy.
Each game in a different persona, and I think he just hated the game on Saturday and hated the Welsh and decided to blame everyone.
Yeah.
That was a flattering scoreline for the Welsh, though.
Yes. Yeah. And I think the same happened again. Although the way England played again was really brutal. Like, if you look at the Ireland game as well, the Ireland and Wales both got absolutely beaten up by the English. But the Welsh are really resilient. Like, they hung on in there. Like, even before the red card, when they then had a big advantage and whatever, they were still hanging in there. And that try that restarted the second half, mate,
class,
that is like Barbarians highlights reel stuff. Absolutely insane.
Did you see it, Ian, when you were watching the game?
I did actually. I saw it on the highlights.
Very good.
What?
The highlights.
Very good. Very good.
Need to talk about the level of commitment here.
Yeah. I mean, I watched it with a cup of tea hungover.
And a KFC.
I forgot the score, which is quite good.
A dirty bucket.
I checked it whilst after a couple of glass of wine, and then I'd forgotten, and then I was watching going, this is good. And then I was like, this is really good now. And so it was awesome. I thought it was live. Why are they playing the Six Nations on a Sunday morning?
So the image of you in your pants with a bucket of KFC and a cup of tea.
Oh, mate, don't go there.
Confused about what's going on.
Don't go there. So, but yeah, so speaking about Sunday's game, the French.
Zutelaw.
Lovely. Hey, happy days.
Yeah, I mean, no one is more French than the French. That was an impressively French performance. Without making any more jokes, but like, they must be kicking themselves, because there's no way they should lose to Scotland. No way they should lose to Scotland.
No,
they must be. They must be absolutely kicking themselves. That is a.
You say you don't agree?
No, I do agree.
Right. I don't agree. The brief is to not agree, so I don't agree.
I have no reasons. I just don't agree. But yeah.
I just feel I shouldn't agree here, so this is the time to not agree.
No, having just said that they shouldn't have lost to the Scots won on Sunday. The Scots only just lost to England in round 2 or whatever it was, and the Scots weren't too far off the Irish in the opening round. I think it was. That's quite, and they beat Italy. They're not far off, actually, 3 or 4 wins, and suddenly they're quite close to the top of the table.
It's actually quite a close championship.
Yeah, and then there's Italy. But yeah, no, you're right, mate. I mean, it really is actually very, very tight. Very, very tight.
I mean, the real winner is coronavirus, yeah. It's getting more press than the bloody games.
Unbelievable. I've got.
And this is a cross sport question, but the no shaking hands thing, right?
Yes.
They tackling each other. They all like when they're marking in football, they are marking each other in contact, but they won't shake hands. I just don't get it. But then they'll shake hands after the game.
Yeah. Bizarre.
So you obviously, if you go into it, if you play 90 minutes of football, you can't have coronavirus.
Doesn't make any sense.
So that's the cure, isn't it? Because the only thing they banned is the pre-game handshake. Is that right? Anyway, that's a whole different topic. But in the rugby, they just didn't do it. They don't do it. Can you
imagine that being the advice from the chief medical officer? So make sure you wash your hands.
I just find it weird.
And whatever you do not shake at the beginning of a meeting, only at the end. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just weird.
It's brilliantly ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's whoever thought it up is just. It's almost
very English. Like, okay, we won't shake at the beginning, but it'd be rude if we didn't shake hands when we say goodbye. So,
it's bizarre.
Not sure we can have that.
I've gone off piece though. Sorry, that was a different thing, different episode.
So there's. You say Corona's the winner. There is only one game left now because England-Italy's been cancelled. Ireland-France has been cancelled now as well.
Have they actually been cancelled or?
Oh, sorry, postponed. But so I think are they going to try and play them in the autumn?
I don't know. I don't know how.
I have no idea. I don't know what the plan is.
Going to do it. I think it's odd that they're cancelling games for this reason. I think it's odd that some games are being cancelled, some are being played behind closed doors, which also seems weird. I just think the whole handling and inconsistency, because Juve played Inter in football, and that was just played behind closed doors. So what's the difference? Why are rugby games being postponed? And like you said, I have no idea when they're actually going to play them. So is this
do you know
just going to?
I wonder. And that's a really good question, mate. I wonder if it's down to money, because I wonder if because it's internationals and the unions need to make this money from hosting the game and the ticket sales, the beer sales, merchandise, whatever it is, that actually, if you play a league game behind closed doors, it's one from your season of 38 games, and so it's not as big a deal. If you don't play one of your internationals, your home internationals particularly, how many home internationals are there for any of the Six Nations side? There can only be, I don't know, 7 in a year.
Two or three
in the tournament, and then a few in autumn. So maybe it's quite a high percentage. But it all comes back to money.
Just watching you two trying to work out something quite funny.
That was ugly. We'll cut that out.
Is it 4-22, 3, 4, 7?
Carry the 3.
That was awful.
But it's your dog. No, sorry.
I actually have a ticket to France, Scotland. Wales, who are they playing? What the fuck's going on? Where are we? Who's playing this weekend? Wales, Scotland, isn't it? Where am I going? What am I doing?
I don't. Have you got one ticket again?
No. I've been invited. Wales, Scotland, Cardiff. I'm going to Cardiff. I've been invited by the Welsh government.
Oh, by Tiny.
Because through the joint venture thing that we do at work with Tiny Rebel, we managed to get an invite to a corporate box. So I'm desperately hoping that it stays on, because I've got quite a nice day.
I think that game will be on.
Hope so.
Who knows?
Maybe it's air travel that's the problem. Maybe that's the issue.
Mate, could you record some form of interview whilst at said stadium?
Why not? I can absolutely
go and squirrel grip Alan Wynne-Jones and see what happens.
Can you imagine
I would love that.
How dead I would be from a punch from a professional rugby player? Be absolutely destroyed.
Mate.
Anyway,
and you say you're committed.
Yeah. Hang on. We agreed that we watch a bit of sport and then talk about it. We never agreed I'm going to get smashed in the face.
Well, maybe I didn't. I thought that was just pretty much a given. But anyway, that's fine. What next? Do I have to tell you have to go and do stuff all the time? I mean, the fact that you carry the show is just in itself probably enough. But
hey, that's not true. That's not true at all. But so before we wrap up, let's give. Is there anything else you guys want to? Anything else you want to chat about?
No, I think
what's the fucking point?
I'm all rugbyed out.
So one game on then this weekend. Probably going to be.
Who is it?
I don't know. I've got to check again. Mate, it's Wales Scotland.
Georgia versus
someone versus the Blues. Wales Scotland in Cardiff.
Big Wales win.
Really?
37-12.
I'll write these down because this is bold. This is bold from Lautenberg. Oh, I haven't got.
And a George North concussion.
Right, that's a bloody given. Right, come on then. So say that again, buddy.
37-12.
To Wales, 37-12.
With George North's first try scorer.
George North first try. Oh, mate, we're going fucking accumulator here, aren't we? Right, okay, go on then, Boise.
I am going to go a Wales win as well, but I think it's going to be close. I think 24-21.
Oh, 24-21. That's nice. Man, that'd be a belter of a game. It's good. I think it'll be played under the roof, so it's going to be dry conditions. Be great for ball handling. I think Stuart Hogg is going to have a belter, an absolute belter. I think where Scotland are going to. Christ, I think Scotland are going to nick this one, 21-25. So yeah, 25 Scotland, 21 Wales. A huge win.
And on that,
huge win away.
Mate, that is a ridiculous prediction. But on that note,
on that bombshell,
that would put England, France, and Scotland all joint top of the table.
Really?
Mate,
that's ridiculous.
I think so.
But I guess all top of the table, but still with France and England with technically one to play.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Technically,
yes.
Basically.
Yeah. Okay. So here's a question. Before let's wrap up. Just one last question. Quick answer. Do you think?
Let's wrap up. One question.
Do you think they should just finish the tournament now and go right? Games are cancelled. They're not postponed. They're cancelled. This is where it lands. You play the cards you're dealt, or do you think they should postpone the games, play them in the autumn at some point?
I think they should draw a line at it now and say there's points. You take a draw, 1 point each or whatever, and just move on. I don't think you can wait 7 months to finish a tournament.
I'd agree with that. The only other option is they everyone just goes to Italy and make Italy play back-to-back games over a single weekend.
Amazing.
Mate. Well, like a sevens tournament.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Just fancy dress, and the Italians just have to rotate all the way through a day of just 4 games.
What would be amazing if it's actually if they did exactly what you said there, where they get they call it a draw and they get 1 point each. That might give Italy their best total ever from just post.
I mean, that's embarrassing on that depressing Italian to kick them while they're coronavirus down Sergio. To do that.
Sergio.
So,
right, lads, always a pleasure.
Have a good one.
Always a pleasure. Go well.